deal with how we can preserve our marital destiny, have a beautiful relationship. And a beautiful relationship is possible. A beautiful marital relationship is very, very possible. You know, it can be, it's attainable, it's practicable, it's doable. You know, I think that one of the things that will make a good marriage possible is to not take ourselves too seriously in it. If we have the opportunity of being married, we should not take ourselves too seriously. We should be grateful. We should be grateful. We should be grateful. Of course, we should take the marriage seriously, but not take ourselves too seriously. How do I say that? What's the English word for not taking yourself too serious? What should it be? If you don't take yourself too seriously, how are you taking yourself? Easy. Take yourself. No, don't be entitled. I think that's the thing. Not entitled. Don't be selfish. You know? Your wife, your husband, doesn't belong to you. Your wife, your husband belongs to God. Right? They don't belong to you, they belong to God. So when you know that your spouse does not belong to you, they belong to God, you don't want to own them and possess them. You want to, be grateful for them. Be grateful for the opportunity that you have to relate with them for as long as you have to relate with them, and not feel like this is now somebody God has given to you to own, to possess. You allow them to be themselves, and know that your work in their life is to help them grow, help them develop, help them to do well, help them. To the extent that they want to grow and develop, you assist them. You encourage them. You work with them. But your job is not to change them. Your job is not to feed them into your image. Your job is just to help them. There's nobody, you can't get anybody that if you look for a fault in them, you're not going to find. So don't find fault. Help the person to grow and make the marriage beautiful. Have fun. Do things deliberately. We want things to come up spontaneously. We want things to happen miraculously. No, do things deliberately. Plan how you want your marriage to be. Plan the responses you want to get in your relationship and act on them and see how they happen. So it's possible. It can be done. It can be done. So we're looking at the issue of agreement, which is a big deal. The power that the authority of a relationship is an agreement of the parties. We've talked about the issue of who is authority in a relationship. None. The person that's authority in the marital relationship is God. Otherwise, it is the agreement that we have. So that's, sometimes for young men, for single men, when you see somebody you want to marry, you almost don't want their input. You just know you like them enough, you want to have them. But that's not right, and that's not healthy. because a person should also take responsibility for what that relationship is going to become. So we sit down and we agree. Otherwise, if you get somebody who did not have a part in the conversation, about what the substructure, the constitution of the relationship, sometime later in life, you want them to take responsibility, and they will not take responsibility because they had no input, So you could want the person's input, and they say, I don't have anything to say. Whatever you say is fine, right? That's not also very healthy. Because at some point in life, you want someone to take responsibility. They didn't say anything. They didn't make any commitment. So it's important to encourage conversation. It's important to encourage agreement so that we will all have a stake here, because this is what will guide how far this relationship will go. Our focus, our reference is Amos 3 and verse 3. The Bible says that our two cannot work together unless they are agreed. So it's important. That agreement is healthy. That's what helps a relationship to go well. The fact that we are pursuing agreement. Okay? And then as we agree, we move. As we agree, we move. And our movement will be smooth. Our movement will be cordial because we agreed on it. There's no tension. There shouldn't be any tension in relationship. Otherwise, the tension should be quickly resolved if we make agreement, conversation, very important part of what we do. We agree, we move. Anytime there's a problem, we stop. And then we talk again and agree again. And then we move. But when people don't take time to nurture their relationship, things happen that they didn't foresee. Things happen that they did not know about. People say, this happened all of a sudden. Nothing should happen all of a sudden. We should see it coming. We should see the crisis coming and then talk about it and deal with it. And it takes a lot of deliberation, a lot of forethinking to know that this kind of a thing can happen. How do I deal with it? Okay, so we have looked at a few things, and I want to see, so how far did we come? The last time we talked about the things upon which we agree. I know we have talked about the authority of marriage. We have talked about marrying someone that's from another denomination. Talked about knowing the purpose of your life. I think that's where, did we stop there? Is that where we stopped the last time? So the last time we came, we had this recording that didn't work, right? So what are the issues we talked about there in that last situation? Where did we talk about Jonah? Is it in the recorded edition or in the last one? We talked about Jonah there, right? Okay. All right. Was it where we stopped? So we wanted to talk about the purpose of your life, where your life is going, and being sure that where your life is going is compatible with the other person where your life is going. That's where Jonah became an issue. And then when you know where your life is going, on your own, you need to also know how marriage will help. And you need to be very honest about how will marriage help me, And then when somebody comes into your life too, you say, this is what my life is about, and this is how on my own, this is how I have thought that marriage can help me advance. This is the way I figured marriage will help me. Of course, that person, one of the things about communication, the vital thing about communication is for somebody to know you. It's for somebody to know you. Somebody agreeing with you is secondary, but somebody to know you is primary. This is very important. You want somebody to know you. You want to be known. Even if somebody will not agree, they need to know you. When they know you, it affects how they will relate with you. If people don't even know what your interest is, what your aspiration is, you can have an expectation that someone may not be able to meet. But if they know that expectation, it helps them know how to relate with you. This is very powerful principle I've just mentioned now. You can have an expectation that your spouse cannot meet, or may not be able to meet, or may not want to meet. But if they know that expectation, it affects how they relate with you. And that's what you're looking for. You are looking for someone knowing how to relate with you more than you're looking for someone to meet all your expectations. Does that make sense? You are looking for someone to know how to relate with you more than you're looking for someone to meet all your expectations. There are expectations you have that somebody may not be able to meet, but may relate with you in such a way that you find more gratifying than if they met your expectation. Does that make sense? Should I say that again? I said, the expectations you have the expectations, but the person you are relating with may not be able to meet that expectation, but will be able to relate with you in such a way that will be more gratifying than if they met the expectation. Should I repeat that? Is that understood? I should repeat it. I have an expectation, and somebody that's relating with me does not meet the expectation or cannot meet the expectation, but relate with me in such a way that I find more fulfilling than if they met my expectation. This is straightforward. Is it not straightforward? You know, some of the expectations you have, that's where your mind is at the moment. Some of the expectations are not even well thought through. Right? They're not properly thought through. You know, when we are required to have an opinion, we just manufacture one. It's not often properly, groomed opinion. It's not properly researched opinion, but it can just be an opinion. And sometimes we have a need that we don't know we have, or that is not on the surface, that somebody may meet. Okay, let me say you want a wristwatch. Okay? You say, I want a wristwatch. That's your expectation. But you really, what you really need, but you don't know readily, is maybe a certain book. You need the book, but you're not thinking about that. It didn't occur to you that you need that book. But at the moment, what you think is that you need wristwatch. Okay? And then this person is unable to get you a wristwatch, and they're able to get you the book. And when you see the book, you just know that I even needed this more than I needed this watch. Right? Now, but you may need to still tell this person that I need a watch. You may need to tell them, I need a watch. So that's the important thing. I'm trying to run around it a little bit. When you say what you need, it's not so that you can hold on to it as if your life depends on it. It is so that the person you are dealing with gets to know who you are. Right? Because when they now know who you are, even if they cannot meet that need, they may now have to think through how to relate with you in such a way that can perhaps compensate for the need that they cannot meet. Does it make sense? They can't meet it, but they know it. If they don't know it, their mind will not go into finding a way to compensate for it. But if they know the need, they will be able to think around how they can compensate for it. What am I saying? I'm saying you need to communicate. Communicate your expectations with all your heart. Let people know what you need, but don't be married to the expectations. Don't hold on to them. The first thing expectations do is that they help the person you are relating with know you. I want a car. Okay. What it has revealed is that you are someone like this. In fact, You should find a way to have more conversation around that. I want a car, and this is why I want a car. You see, whatever your expectations might be, your expectations are rooted in your history. And your history reveals the kind of person you are. It's possible that there's something you want now that you want because it was something missing in the family where you grew up. You may want a car. Why do you want a car? And then you explain. It's not about what you want. You explain that I want the car because my uncle had a car and will not carry us as kids. That has revealed something beyond you just wanting a car. So it's not a car you want, as it were. It is to deal with this history that I have. You may even have forgotten why that expectation is there. It has grown over the history of your life, but it's connected to you. So if somebody can even, when if you tell your husband, I want a car, and he can't buy the car, for instance, he might go into defense and go into trying to say, why are you asking for a car? How much money am I making? I don't have a job. I just got this job, and you're telling me to buy a car. Why am I going to buy you a car? Don't you have sense? Look at the life we're living. We should park at this place. You have missed it. So as a man or the woman, whatever case might be, don't be in a hurry. Even if you can't do what the person is asking, the first thing is that when your partner, when your spouse opens their mouth to talk to you, they are revealing themselves to you. Don't worry about what they are saying. See them through what they are saying. Right? See them. This is very vital. Whatever it is has told you who they are. Okay? And then that helps you to know how to relate with your spouse. Very, very important. But we often are very superficial in our conversation. We are on the surface. We're on the surface. Somebody just says something, we jump on it. One principle of communication is that meaning is not in the words people use. Meaning is in the people using those words. Meaning is in people. Meaning is not in words. That's a little complex, but it's true. Meaning is in people. So somebody can say, get out. Get out. And the meaning is not in the word they use at all. You can have friends who are talking and the other person say, get out of here. All right. So you can have friends talking and joking and cracking jokes, and one friend just says to the other person, get out of here. It's get out. It's get out of here. It's stupid. It's foolish. Your friend can call you a monkey, and you laugh. Why are you laughing? Someone can say, they just called you monkey and you're laughing. Someone else can call you a monkey, and it's a war. It's a fight. And you can say, he called me a monkey. But I just called you what somebody else called you, and you didn't bother. And you laughed and smiled. Why? Meaning is not in the words. Meaning is in the people using the words. So when somebody is talking, particularly leading with emotion. So when somebody is talking, it's not just what they are saying, it's you're trying to see them, understand them through what they are saying. Okay. We talked about the essence of marriage. What's marriage supposed to be about? Marriage is supposed to be that we come together and we want to demonstrate the relationship that exists between Christ and the church. That's what we want to do. If you always put that in front of you, it helps you. Again, marriage is about work. Two are better than one because they have better reward for their labor. So a person who has no direction, no purpose, no work should not get married. All right? So we talked about the rules. The man is to serve. The woman is to submit. We talked about that over and over again. We talked about superiority of the spouses. We said that no one is superior to the other. You know. But you need to find out. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about. Okay? Reason for getting married, you need to know. This is important. It's important. There are people that want to get married because they now want to become parents. Right? And it doesn't show. The young man comes and he wants to get married and he's talking and then I love you and all that. But the back of his mind is that he thinks I've come of age and I want to now become a father. In fact, it might even get deeper than that. It may be that they want to get married because they want to become a father because their mother had them as the only child. And they want to, give a child to their mother, particularly before she died because she's now 98. So she needs to, you don't know that. So that's why you should have the conversation. Don't take it for granted that when people grow up, they should get married. Whatever that is, it's important to find out why do you want to get married. Why do you want to get married? Sometimes people say, I should get married now. I'm not grown up. Yes, you're grown up. Why do you want to get married? And I guarantee you can get a reason that will shock you. I want to get married because, what kinds of reasons? It could be because I want to have a child. I want to be a mother or a father. Now, when you have that reason, you query that reason. Don't take it for granted. For instance, don't assume that once you get married, you get a child. Right? I think that if you assume like that, you are being presumptuous. You are being arrogant. Particularly when you are living in a world where people are married and they don't have children. Have you seen anywhere like that? Somehow, when we see things, we just assume that this will not happen to me. I mean, without talking about it, you just say, oh no, it won't happen to me. And that's so arrogant. That's so, I don't know. We just say, oh no. So when I get married, I have my 2 kids. I mean, how? How did you jump so quickly from married to 2 kids? Is that the way life is? No, don't do that. Pause. When I get married, at least put something. That if I get married, God willing, I have my 2 kids. So the person knows. In fact, if you say that, the partner you're talking to can be shocked. I say, what do you mean God willing? I say, yeah. Because there are all levels of people who are married and they don't have children. Pastors, bishops, all kinds of human beings. They're married, they don't have children. So if you have hinged your marriage on I get married and I have kids, what do you do when that doesn't become the sequence? So one of the things I had to deal with when I was as a young person is I thought about some of these things when I was as a single person. So I seriously began to think, supposing that we don't have any children. It might be scary to think about, but you have to allow yourself to think about it. Why? Because it's a reality in life. We have seen people like that. Say, no, it won't happen to me. Well, those who it happened to, did they say it will happen to them? They didn't say that. So I'm saying, now, about the issue of even having a child, if having a child is somebody's reason for getting married, it's a problem on multiple levels. Okay? Level 1 is, like we have said, you have no control over it. Okay? So you are married to this person, and as soon as you get married, this person is not thinking about getting to know you. He's not thinking about how we work our relationship up. He's talking about particularly you as a lady becoming an instrument for me to get my destination. You are not my destination. Having a child is my destination. So it affects how they see you. They don't even see you as an equal. They see you as a tool. They see you as someone through whom they can get to a goal. Okay, and my goal is to get a child. So that they can take care of you, but take care of you as their machinery for what they want to accomplish, like a car driving me somewhere. So that's a problem, and that's not how you want to be treated. Okay? So God being, let's say that God is gracious and then you come in and you get a child, because that is the goal, it still affects the relationship. Why? Because now the goal is achieved. Okay, now the goal is achieved. What's your state in the relationship? Well, you are now someone that helped me achieve my goal. So I can still love you and relate with you as someone that helped me achieve what I want to achieve. That love is not healthy. It's not healthy. I appreciate you, I thank you, but as someone that helped me get to where I'm going. So thank you so much. I don't love you for you. I don't love you for your essence, for your personality, no, but as a missionary, as a vehicle that brought me, to my destination. But my real love eventually can be for the child that I have, right? And so you see people who have children, and their children just become the center of their lives, not their spouse, not their husband, not their wife. Many times, like in marriages where there's a problem and people are going through maybe divorce or something, oftentimes you will hear people say, it is these children that's my concern. It's these children that's my concern. What am I going to do with my children? So this relationship helped me get them. So that's my goal. So if somebody is marrying you, you need to know whether it is for having a child that is their interest. Because if they do, you may just become relegated to the background. The child becomes the most important thing, whether as a husband or as a wife. Sometimes when women have a child, because ordinarily for their own part, the men need understanding here. But on their own part, when the woman has a child, she becomes fused with that child. Fused with the child so much that the man can struggle to come in between the two of them. Because you carry the pregnancy for 9 months, so there's extreme bonding there. You give birth to this child, there's bonding going on, and the man some men find that when their wives give birth, they are relegated to, nobody knows where you are anymore. And sometimes that's where marriages begin to break down. And that's why I encourage people that when you get married, don't quickly have a child. If you can, hold off for some time so that we can create a bonding very well. Why? Because when you want to marry somebody, hopefully you're not just, it's not child you want, it's a spouse you want. So when you get the spouse that you want, take time and build a relationship. Take time and communicate. You have all the fantasies you have about getting married. You've not expressed them. You've not enjoyed them. You've not talked to them. You've not expressed your fantasies. You have not had sex like you want to. You have not talked like you want to. Why are you quickly running to a child? And when you run there, the other possibilities just get locked up and they get lost and you don't get to know each other. A child, in some sense, is an interruption in a relationship. It's a third person. And when the child comes in, the child starts commanding attention, and the child commands attention selfishly and relentlessly. And when the child starts crying, you must pay attention. So you come in, you marry today, and then your wife can get pregnant the same day you get married, right? That same day. And that's a problem. So you marry somebody, they get pregnant that same night. And the thing I know about pregnancy is that when you get pregnant, you change. Some change small, some change big. So when you get married, don't hurry to pregnancy so that at least you can handle the person you are married and be sure of them. Otherwise, when they get pregnant, their test can change. In fact, the woman can get pregnant and you, the husband, will start smelling with them. You want to come and say, no, leave me alone, no. And you are saying, So I'm hearing a smell here. And the man is smelling, You can get pregnant and they now tell you that her body, is fragile. So leave them, don't have sex with her for the next 3 months. Say, well, I just started. We just got married last Saturday. I said, well, my brother, that's how she is. And then you violate that initially. That's why many people who get married, if the woman is of that fragile nature, many times there's always, what do you call that, miscarriages at the beginning stages, because The man doesn't have the patience to know that this woman's body is like this and she's already pregnant. So hold off if you can. Hold off for 3 months. Hold off for 6 months. Hold off for 1 year if you have the allowance of time so that you can really get to know this person. So that by the time a third person is coming, you are, ready for that person. And not that you are not ready for somebody to come in. Okay? This goes for, I want to mention those who get married and they quickly bring someone to come and live with them. That's not good. You don't have time for this relationship to bond. Or those who get married, somebody's already living with you, then you get married and bring your wife inside the place. Or you live with your family and you bring just all kinds of disturbances. Anyway, so I'm just talking about the problems that arise if having a child is the purpose of the marriage. So, but this first scenario is where God actually is gracious and you now have a child as soon as you get married. It's a beautiful thing, but it can be a complicated thing. You may never create the bonding you can have with your husband or your wife. Never, like forever. Because once that child comes in, that child interrupts the bonding that should happen between the two of you and starts demanding attention. And that bonding never happens. Unless you are taught to now find a way to start creating consciously that bonding. Otherwise, it will never happen. It will never happen until the end of the age. Because you are now bonding with your child, and by the time that one, you are bonded with the child for 2 years, another one comes along, you bond with them. You never have time to talk about, you're not romantic with your husband or your wife. There's no time for that. There's no time for romance. There's no time for sit-out. There's no time to go. There's no time for anything. You get that? Does it make sense? So you never have that until they grow, until this one is 18 and leave, this one is 18 and leave, this one is 18. So if you now give birth to 10 of them. But you can ameliorate that if you are conscious and then know this is what I really want to have in my relationship, and then consciously put the kids apart, lock them up in their room and create time, but it will be harder and tougher. Okay, so I'm talking about those who want to get married for having children. On the other hand, you can also have situations where you want to get married and have children and the children don't come at all. That marriage is frustrated. Because what the expectation I have for this marriage never comes true. So you look at your husband or your wife as a failure. You didn't give me a child, So you are always tense, depending on the relationship, whether your husband is going to leave you at any point in time, because you didn't give him a child. So you are very suspicious. They will reassure you. As a women need to be reassured on a normal day. On a normal day when there's no crisis, they should be reassured that you love them. Okay? Now that there's no child in the marriage, you will be reassuring like a machine. So the person will know, I'm not looking at somebody else. I'm not talking to somebody else. And then it's something that happens. Is because I don't have a child. Is it, why did you do this? Is because, and then when you commend a woman that has got children, this man says, is it because I don't have, and they're moody and they're crying? Is it because? It's not because they won't. And of course, women are very suspicious, and they're also very cautious because they know that the man can wake up anytime and want a child, and actually want to now marry someone to give him a child. So they are worried ahead of time. So on the day you're not even worried about it, they are worrying because they don't really think about if I don't. Again, this is our issue, though. In fact, a woman in our cultural disposition, a woman will not think that she has actually secured her place in a marriage until she has a child. In a home, of course, that is like they're going to this home. So they don't think they have secured their place until the child is. They think they are still visiting until the child, they give the family a child. When I give him a child, then I know that I have arrived. And in some cases, it's until I give the family a male child. Otherwise, they are visiting. So they are struggling, they are tense, they don't feel accepted. Their mother-in-law will do something, they will suspect their father-in-law will do something, just because having a child is the issue. So you can last like that until the end of the relationship, frustrated all the way through. In fact, for some of them, to adopt a child doesn't make any meaning, because it's still not my child. Instead of a child, I want a child that will come out of my factory. All right? So that's the second case. The third case is where the child will eventually come. So in the first case, the child just came. It's a problem. Second case, the child did not come. It's a problem. The third case, the child delayed and come. It's a problem. Because you will not enjoy the relationship you have until the child comes. So you need to know this and deal with it. As a lady, you need to know having a child is good, but do I want to be married to have babies? Is that why I want to be married? But I want to be married because somebody knows that the purpose of marriage, the essence of marriage, is to dramatize the relationship that is between Christ and the church, to create this bond that can give us a beautiful life. So what are the reasons that you want to get married? So another reason somebody can want to get married is because you are you're beautiful, right? They've seen you and you're very beautiful and they think, oh, I must marry this person. That's not very good. That's not very good. If somebody marries you, beauty attracts. That's what beauty does. But beauty should not be the reason for decision. Beauty attracts your attention, then you can think of other serious things. Why? Because you can lose the beauty. You can lose it. You can come there, and then as you age, it disappears. And then if the beauty is a security, as it disappears, you are in trouble. You know that my husband married me for my beauty, and now the beauty is going, and others are still beautiful. And the thing about women, again, is that their beauty is fragile. A woman's beauty is fragile. This is very, very important. When a woman gets married, you can no longer be sure what will happen to her in terms of her beauty. When she starts having children, you can't be sure. There are women that when they get pregnant, as soon as they get pregnant, their body never returns to normal for the rest of their life. Abby? Their figure never just disappears. So if somebody married you for beauty and then it disappears, other people still have their own, other small kids have their own. So the person driven by beauty will still be seeing beautiful people, and what's going to happen to you? You're going to become insecure. When the person looks around, you know, because you know what drove him to you. It was because you had pointed nose. Now your nose is flat. Other people's nose is still pointed. You know? And then again, in marriage too, because you are going to have life together, the person will help to rough handle your beauty, isn't it? You know, deal with you. You get back your breast is flat. All of your things are out of shape. And there are other people who are still doing well. So, it's okay if your beauty attracts somebody. And then again, the thing about women is that you like to be told they're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't allow the person to make this the reason why they're getting married. You know, why do you want to marry me? You're beautiful. One. Then, let them say something meaningful. Again, I encourage ladies to make a list of the reasons why they want to be married. Make a list of the values you want to bring to a marital relationship. Note them. Note why you want to be married. Don't just let it be as the person sees. You know, people see what they interpret you. You are beautiful, you are tall, you are this. No. Make a list of 5 qualities. Do that. It's an assignment. Make a list of 5 qualities that you want to be the reason why somebody marries me. And make them top qualities. And they have to be internal qualities. Anything on the outside that is not your making, forget it. Anything that's not your making, forget it. Think of qualities you can develop. That's the reason for my being attractive. What are the values? Okay? What are the things a man can find value in me? Number 1 is what? You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then bring them up. Somebody comes to marry you and you ask this question, what are the reasons why you want to marry me? Of course, if you're going to ask somebody why they want to marry you, you should have asked yourself, what are the reasons why I want to be married? What are the values I want somebody to be charmed by coming from me? What are the values? I want to be seen as somebody who is industrious, somebody who is hardworking, somebody who is intelligent, someone who is knowledgeable, someone who is resourceful, somebody who is, just list them out, and then those become your goals as you drive to be a person of significance. And so when somebody comes in your life, you ask them, why do you want to marry me? They say, oh, because you are beautiful. Then they say, well, I think that's all. So even if you want to marry the person, because they may want to marry you and you want to marry them, but they want to marry you for the wrong reason, you need to begin to bring out those values and present them. What do you think about somebody being resourceful? Somebody being someone that can help you, solve this problem, solve that problem. So, yeah. How does that compare with somebody being beautiful? You bring those things up so the person has a shift in their mind and focuses where you want them to focus. And find a way to play down the one you want played down. Because you see, if somebody marries you because you're beautiful, and you lose that beauty, you can be sure now that they are managing you. They are now gone to the zone of what can I do? You're already married. And you don't want someone to manage you like that. You want someone to find you appealing and attractive all the days of your life. So it has to come from what is the reason why someone married you. Very important. What are the reasons? Another reason someone can get married is because they have found this person that is the best person in the world. They have found this. I saw this girl. She's charming. She's the best in the world. If someone says that to you, you just know that they are crazy. You should be honest with yourself. I know you like to be told that, but you should know that that's not true. I'm not the best in the world. Best in what? Best in what in the world? So you are so much. Anytime I see you, my breath stops. My heart just starts skipping a bit. Each time I look at you, you just mesmerize my mind. I don't just know. You're looking like a fool. You're looking at a fool who is not thinking well. Don't allow that. Bring her and say, what is the problem? What's the problem? So don't just enjoy it a little bit. Enjoy it, that they are praising you, but bring him back down. Because even this me is an issue. I'm an issue to myself. And again, I know people who are better than me. So it's not about mocking yourself, it's about knowing that someone is not being realistic. So, what do you mean I'm the best? I'm the best in what? Say, well, you're the best, you're the most beautiful girl I have seen. He's not looking properly. He'll wake up one day, and the challenge of life and the shock of life is when he now wakes up and finds you're not the most beautiful person in the world. Crisis has begun. So tell him ahead of time. And he said, no, it's true, you're the best. Oh, no, don't tell me that again, you're the most beautiful girl in the world. It's okay, no problem. So apart from that, what next? So that we can surround ourselves with reality while we are being hypnotized by, very important. You're not the best in the world. No man is the best in the world. There's no best in the world at all. You can only have the best in the world if you compare people. And if you compare people, you're wrong already. You don't compare people. People are made for their purposes. They are made for their places. So you put the person in his place. You don't compare them. So which one is better, the microphone or the camera? Doesn't mean anything. Each one is in its place. Each one has a purpose. So you need to find out, is my purpose compatible? Then I marry the person. Now, if there was somebody who is the best in the world, it may not even be you to marry them. Right? If you're honest. So this guy is the best in the world, I can't marry him. Why? I'm not the best in the world. In fact, you can actually give him the address of somebody who is the best in the world that they should go and marry. So you're so wonderful. And you're being honest, you're so wonderful, I can't marry you. There's a girl I know down the street that can fit you. But you know how we are. We don't think like that. We just think if you're wonderful, it's me. Why? Why is it you? You know. So you don't look for the best. You look for yours. You don't look for the best. You look for yours. You look for compatibility with my purpose and my life. Like I used to say, if you have a child and your child is very ugly, and this is very important, it's about yours. If you have a child and your child is very ugly, of course you will know that my child is ugly. If your child is ugly, you know. You can say, oh, cute little baby, cute little baby. I know. But you know this child is ugly. But you love that child regardless and above any other child in the world. So you take the child to school, to kindergarten, nursery. You know, when you come there after school, right? You don't say, give me the most beautiful child. No, you say, give me my child. If you're being a beautiful child and give you say no. I want that my ugly, monkey-looking child. There's a bonding that has been created between you and that baby. It's not about being the most beautiful. It's mine. We have to have that sense. We grow like that. In fact, that's a very powerful thing that we need to realize, which is missing. But like when we grow up, we grow up and become stupid sometimes. It's like when we were small and your parents didn't have a television in your house. It didn't make any meaning. You went to school, when they dismissed from school, you go back home to that place. No TV, you go there. No seat, you go there. No furniture, you go there. Right? There's a bonding between me and this place. But now, as you grow up, you know, we lose the sense of my own. We lose the sense of my responsibility, my place. We lose that sense completely. We now start going for fancy. That's even like we talked about this issue of traveling abroad and all of that. It's okay, but we need to think in terms of my place. And if the reason why I'm traveling is because my place is not good, something is wrong with me. It's madness. Because that's not how we are. I mean, it's like forsaking. So, if they keep you, you can bypass you and go to somebody else because you are not good. That's why some people don't like themselves. They have no sense of personal security and confidence because I'm not good enough. I don't talk well. I don't stand well. My shape is something. So they look at someone with envy. You know, you can look at somebody that's nice and appreciate them, but that's them. This is me. With all my issues, this is me. And how you are, you fit. God accepts you. God brings you here. So why not accept yourself? You know? So, very important that we realize that. And then love people. Again, the other thing about relationship. You know, selfishness is a big deal. When, first of all, everybody in the world belongs to you. That's one of the things you need to learn that will give you peace. When people go to marry, they want to pick out the one person in the world that they can own. So they want it to be that this is my own, this is what I have from the world, and the other people cannot have their own. No, everyone belongs to you. You just have to have this person that you are going to have to relate with in such a way. For instance, all the beautiful girls in this world, they belong to me. Say amen for me. All the beautiful girls in the world. That's why some people, when they see somebody that's beautiful, they don't know how to appreciate them because they are thinking that it has to be that person is my wife to be appreciated. Because that person, you don't know that person belongs to you. The Bible says all things are yours, right? Everybody belongs to you. Beautiful people, those who are tall, they are yours. Those who are big, they are yours. Those who are bossy, everybody belongs to you. But because everyone belongs to you does not mean you have to relate with everybody in every way. No. If you have a house, you can't sleep in all the rooms. They belong to you. So when you see that your other person that is tall and beautiful, don't want it to be your wife that's like that. Before you can appreciate and love that. Oh, you are so beautiful. When you admire somebody like that, people misunderstand it. Because they are saying, oh, you admire this person. Is he your wife? Because God has to put every good thing inside the person you marry. So we put too much pressure on people, on ourselves. And we can't admire people, we can't love people, we can't hug people because we want all of that to be in the person I marry. That's too much. So I want the person I marry to be my wife, my mother, my sister. No, it cannot be. They'll be your wife only. And I think they cannot do well. If you want somebody to sing, don't call your wife, she cannot sing. So, honey, come and say, no, she can't sing. The person that can sing belongs to you too. You know? Everybody belongs to you. So pick the one to relate with in this way. But everybody still belongs to you. So when you need them in the ways you can need them, you can bring them along. That helps. But we want to pick out the best, let others now pick the second classes. So waste time trying to pick. Waste time. Which one will it be out of these four? Pick and relax. Whatever good they carry, all still are available to you. Does it make sense? You know? I want to say something now. Should I say that kind of thing? You know? At the end of the day, marriage, at the center of marriage is sex. Right? At the center of marriage is sex. Without sex, there's no marriage. Abby? The center of marriage is sex. Okay, so you want to marry someone beautiful so you can have sex with them. Is it correlated? Is it correlated? You want to have somebody who has a fine face because you want to have sex with them. Fine face, sex. I don't think it's connected. In fact, let me tell you something. You can find somebody beautiful that doesn't want to have sex. I don't want to have. And people eventually get a revelation about this thing. You can marry somebody and they find that this person is not interested in sex. And you're frustrated. In fact, you can marry a girl that, has big breasts and all of that, which you like, and she doesn't want you to be touched. You touch her, leave me. Oh. So, So what's the problem? I don't want my breasts to sag. So you have to know, this beautiful person I'm looking for, is it for this sex part? What's the guarantee that this person can be? And we just need to look at life and study life and understand life. You see, when you see women, they make up, dress, wear all of that. It's for attraction. When you want to eventually have sex with the person, they will remove all of those things. They wash up the makeup. But all of those things will not be useful. So they just provide an attraction. So you need to be able to look beyond all of those and know what really matters in this whole thing. So we're talking about the reasons for getting married. Very important. You need to think. But it takes a lot of thinking to be able to calm yourself down and not be worried about some superficial things. So much to say. But I think that this will be very useful to us. All right. So let me stop here. Do you have a question?